Give us a call, 2165. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. What's your Donald Trump's next job be? I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go to the phone lines. Talk to Terrell from East Oak Lane on line 1. Go ahead, Terrell.
Good morning, Solomon. Good morning, Kuwaisa. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, that interview, you know, I try not to cast aspersions on politicians as a whole, but God bless you for your persistence. I mean, she said that she's been in community organizing and politicians since '84, and it sounded like it. I mean, just give a straightforward answer. I feel like, you know, I'm sure the Councilwoman does a phenomenal work, and she should be credited for that. But, God, if you're in an interview and you ask, you know, a straightforward question, give a straightforward answer. I mean, you asked 3 times. And I think that's the frustration of a lot of Philadelphians in general, or just in our politics, you know, that we have in our society, is that you looking for straightforward answer on how to help people. If the answer is no, not right now, say no, not right now, instead of dancing around the topic. But we've said it before, callers have said it before, you press on and you run your show differently. And I don't know that there are other hosts who would have persisted the same way you did. So thank you, and we got to keep, you know, forcing answers that we want and need.
Thank you, man, and I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. We certainly appreciate it. Let's go to Mike from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, Solomon. How you doing today, good buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. 3 quick things. First of all, with this restriction stuff, are they going to shut these stop and goes down?
How about that? How about that? Oh,
these places
that's
down.
the question of the morning, brother.
Yeah, because all they do is gathering, congregating, and they got no mask on, and social distancing, and who knows what's flying in the air with them. They need to be on the list, too.
Yeah.
You know, the second thing is, Lindsey Graham is a despicable person, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is.
He's a hate-the-face guy.
Lord have mercy.
And I hope all the people in South Carolina are proud of themselves. I know John McCain is up and down on him in disgust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in the words of my man Al Baghdadi, who's usually coming on Thursdays, I hope they throw his Bahootney in jail. You know. And the last thing is, Donald Trump, he's going to have to change his name to Donald Dufresne, because he's going to be starring in the Shawshank Redemption Part 2. Donald takes Manhattan. Trust me and believe me. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, man. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WRD, and I think that's one of the reasons he's fighting so hard. Like, dude, you lost by like well over 5 million votes. You got your butt kicked. Like it was bad. You lost states that's supposed to be Republican. How you a Republican? Wait a minute, right? You leading this party, which you have really framed as a party where one of the foundational beliefs is white supremacy. Donald Trump did that, right? And so you are running a party that is invested in white supremacy because of you, right? And you lose the state where they got the Confederates carved in the side of a mountain. How you lose Georgia? Like, you are that bad. You know what I'm saying? You're that bad that you lost the state where they got Stone Mountain, Georgia, with Confederates and the Confederate flag carved into the side of a mountain, and you lost that. Like, you are awful, dog. That's why you lost. You lost because you got 11 million coronavirus infections. You lost because you got 250,000 people dead. You lost because you ignored the advice of health officials. You lost because the families of those people who have died from this virus have not forgotten what you did. You lost because you spent more time on Twitter than you did in the Oval Office. You lost because you spent more time on your golf course than you did doing your job. You lost because you launched missiles and attacked somebody just out of the blue. You lost because you're incompetent. Please sit down. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Kuwaisa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we do have a couple more comments here. Wanda Unique Davis says his next job should be a license plate instructor. Teaching can reduce your sentence. So that's one comment that we have here. Zen Motley is saying invest in plumbers and some butchers, some carpenters. Learn how to grow your own food, raise your own livestock. Wanda also is, oops, no, let me go to another comment here. I'm trying to pull it up. Oh. Sorry about that. Kenrick Talbot says Trump should avoid New York City at all costs. He knows a criminal trial is awaiting him. So that's another comment. Michelle Tulloch-Neal said earlier, yes, I will be intentional about supporting the restaurants. Ed Minner is saying, good morning, Coesa, Solomon, and Word. So good morning right back at you. And also good morning to Deborah Dorn Carter as well. Antoinette Bevins Pickens says, take off your wig, 45, and clean the prison. Stay out the showers. They are waiting for you. Sana Moore says, don't drop the soap. And then we also have Gloria Gainey, 45 is acting like a bad runner that's going to get you back before they leave. So that's another comment that we have as well. And lastly, Joseph Kinsey says, enough of this. Stop the double speak and show me the money. The only ones to get the money will be the bureaucrats. Have mercy. So those are just a few comments that we have on our page.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for those. And let's go to the phone lines and talk to Jerry from North Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, thank you, Solomon, WURD, for giving me this time and opportunity. I just hope y'all allowed me to talk. But I agree along with the first caller. You know, she did dance around that question when you answer how can, like, you know, like black and brown people, like the ones that she said was eligible for the stimulus money but just didn't know that they were eligible. She didn't give any, like, clear understanding of that except for she and her organization, whoever that she's speaking for, is basically trying to get access to that money and want us to support the fact that they're going to take the money that is available to those who happen to have the stimulus, who was available for.
No, that's not what she said. She said that there is no timeline yet on when that money is going to be available. They're looking at maybe 6 months, and that initially they are going to push people to get the money that's already on the table and available through stimulus funds, through earned income tax credit, and through other programs that they don't get to.
Okay, well, the thing is, like myself, like I didn't take.
You didn't take. Did we lose him?
I think
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, I think we lost him. Okay. Call back, Jerry. We want to hear what you have to say. Let's go to Shaquille from the Northeast on line 4. Go ahead, Shaquille.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know what Trump's job need to be? You don't need another job. He just need to sit down and be humble somewhere. Like Kendrick Lamar said, you don't need to work at all.
Okay.
He already did enough damage. He did enough damage control. And what the thing is, he did so much damage that we got to try to clean it up now. It's a shame.
I hear you. And you're right.
There's a million people dying out here, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the crazier part is that in spite of all that he's done, you still got people out here voting for him by the millions. Yo, y'all are really that's my problem with it. It ain't him. I know he crazy. What's wrong with y'all?
Right. And not only that, y'all voted for somebody that's a racist. That don't even like you.
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. I want to thank you, Shaquille. Okay, Jerry's back. Jerry, finish your point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Trump's a clown. Everybody already get it. They got it. Okay, it's a done deal. But my thing is about this money that's supposed to be, you know, available for those who didn't know that didn't know they was available. How would I get available and access to that?
Yeah, well, part of it is the earned income tax credit. And you can go to the IRS website to find out about that right now, irs.gov. The other thing is stimulus money that might be available. And again, that's IRS money. That's money that's already available, right? So you can go to irs.gov to find out about that. It's called, there are two things. One is the earned income tax credit. The other is, the coronavirus stimulus money.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk with Jay from North Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Jay.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Yes, I think that Trump needs to have the job as a sanitation worker so he can help clean up some of the mess that he created.
You preaching now.
The job that he needs.
All right, man, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. I love it. Let's talk to Jay from West Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Jay.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Okay, a reality check, Donald Trump. You're going to be unemployed. And because you're going to be unemployed, you need to actively seek ways to make ends meet. And don't forget, Donald, you have a pre-existing condition. So you may want to consider either Obamacare or the new Biden care that's going to come out. Okay, and another job that you may consider is they may let you come into the golf range. Pick up those balls that's in the pod and on the roofs, and maybe you can cash it in for cash. See ya.
I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go back to the phone line, talk to Charmaine from Wyncote on line 4. Go ahead, Charmaine.
Good morning, Solomon. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
I agree. I think Trump's next job should be as a person in the penitentiary and not the federal ones. No, we need to put him in a state one. And I also believe Mitch McConnell should be his bunkmate.
How about that?
Because both of them are quiet right now. When their country needs someone to lead them, I hear nothing from any of the Republicans in the Senate. We hear nothing from a president that we already know is crazy. I would like to know how we can get all of the senators that are Republicans not speaking. How can we get them arrested for treason? Because that's what it looks like to me, and I'm a veteran.
I hear you. I hear you, Jay, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We certainly appreciate it. And I want to remind you, Philly, it's the school year. It's underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy in-person and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual learning models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to exercise your choice. Maybe it's time to check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family: and online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. Partnership with a market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. Delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Always Best Care is a great place to work.
Flexibility,
leadership, purpose,
great benefits.
There's never a dull moment.
diversity, inclusion, compasión.
We love our jobs. If you're looking for a great place to work, you can join our compassionate Team Green. You can apply online at teamgreenabc.com or call 267-909-9248.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." For all young people to succeed in Philadelphia public schools, they need adequate resources and materials. But not all students have the same access and opportunities they deserve. As Philadelphia public schools continue to operate with remote learning, we at WURD Radio want to do our part to help students have the resources they need to be successful. Please join us and our community partners, Global Citizen and the Cayuga Elementary School, by donating supplies online so students have the same supplies we would want for our own children. Go to globalcitizen365.org to make an online contribution of supplies.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And we are, of course, taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. We should be talking with CNN commentator Roxanne Jones in just a few minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to talk to you. 215-634-8065 is the number. And, of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at ForWord. That's FORWURD, FORWURD, and let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. President Trump has a little over 2 months to sit there in that Oval Office, to sit in the dining room off the Oval Office and watch Fox News, to go on his golf course, to tweet all day and all night long. He's got a couple of months to keep up that foolishness that he's been doing for these 4 years that got him voted out, and not just voted out by a little bit. Nah, dude, you lost by over 5 million votes. So, he's got 2 months. But after those 2 months, he's going to need a job. And my question to you is, what should Donald Trump's job be once he leaves the White House? Give us a call. Or you can weigh in on Facebook, like I'm sure many people are doing this morning. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
A couple more comments that we have here. So good morning first to William Fassett, Winona Hayes Poole, Kenny Jameson, Al Jean Brown, and Cornelia Holmes. Thanks so much for tuning in. Zuma Gonzalez, Donald Trump has a narcissistic condition that prevents him, unfortunately, from recognizing the problems he's created. Being a narcissist, he can only focus on himself. I don't hate him, but I certainly don't want him as commander-in-chief of this country where I live. And so that's one comment that we have there. Carmen Iris says he can work at being the guinea pig for these vaccines, all of them. And then also we have Deborah Dorn Carter. Solomon, remember, birds of a feather flock together. 45 and his friends. Big Bird is going to jail. And then we also have here Sharon Edwards is saying good morning, Queen Kawesa, King Solomon, and Philly. So good morning right back at you. Edna Case, Linda Jones, thanks so much for tuning in. Rodney Spider Smith says you lost because you lost. So plain and simple. Erica, he needs to go to the county, talking about where he should go to prison. And then Patrick Duff, Trump hasn't been this quiet since he was in the womb. So that's another comment that we have. And lastly, we have Raphael Suleiman saying Donald Trump's next job is going to be as the leader of the opposition movement against President Biden and the Democratic agenda. He will be the leader of the America First movement that will make the Tea Party movement of 2008 and 2009 look like child's play. He has over 75 million supporters now. So that's another comment that we have as well.
So I want to thank you all for your comments. Your comments always insightful. And I want to get your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. So, of course, we're talking about the vaccines. One of them, they've done the testing, and it looks like it's about 94.5% effective. We talked with the doctors about that a little bit earlier, Dr. Elena McDonald and Dr. Delana Wardlaw. The other one from Pfizer looks like it's about 90% effective after going through actual trials and not just, being thrown out there and, here, just use this and see what happens. Like, see if you grow 2 heads. No, it's not. They have actually been tested, and they will probably be ready for limited distribution to those who are most at risk by the end of the year. But the problem is what happens after that. You understand? The problem is what happens with the rest of us, given that Donald Trump's going to be gone January 20th, and he's not talking to Joe Biden's transition team. This is bizarre. It is absolutely crazy. And the thing that makes me angriest, and it really makes me angry every time I think about the Republicans like Mitch McConnell, the Republicans like Lindsey Graham, the Republican governors of these various states. South Dakota got, it's basically the epicenter of this thing, and their governors telling the people, y'all decide for yourselves if you want to wear masks, and we ain't gonna shut nothing down. We ain't gonna, and that's why it's spreading like wildfire in South Dakota, because you got a Republican governor out there playing games with it, and it's like, man, y'all gonna mess around and kill all of us with this nonsense. And you've got folks who know better, man, and y'all following this crazy dude because he got other people following him. Oh, he got a big following, so, I can't say what's right. I can't do what's right. I just got to go along with what he's doing. You know how many nations and civilizations have fallen because nobody wanted to stand up and say this is wrong? We need to go in another direction. This is crazy, man. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Dwayne from Philly is online, too. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yes, I'd like to know if he start a war, will he leave office?
If he starts a war, would he leave office?
Yes.
Okay, the Constitution says that on January 20th, a new term starts with the newly elected president. So one way or another, January 20th, he's supposed to be out. And so it doesn't matter if he starts a war or not. January 20th is your last day.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
All right. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Karen is on line 1. Go ahead.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm glad you're well. You're better than a couple of weeks ago. That's a good
Me
thing.
Too.
Me
yep,
too.
Thank you.
Me three, and the family as well. I wanted to remark regarding the South Dakota debacle. It's actually more than just the governor ignoring and looking to the left. We have to recognize there's 3 tribal reservations in that community around Sturgis. It all started with the Harley Davis annual festival that happens usually around the 4th of July, where a bunch of people converged in Sturgis, South Dakota. And at the same time, there was a huge Sundance in the Pine Ridge area of South Dakota. So you got all these people coming in from areas that were outside of that particular pretty pure community. And you have tribal people who are going to die from this. And that land they've been wanting that land so much that I believe that's the reason why the ignorance is being portrayed. What do you think? What I said.
I think that's an interesting conspiracy. But the thing that makes it fall apart for me is that white people dying from it too. So if your intent is to kill a specific population, then you introduce it into that population and make sure that your population doesn't have it. But the problem is that everybody's getting it in South Dakota. White folks, and of course Native Americans are more susceptible to dying from it. But if they were just trying to kill the Native Americans, wouldn't they make sure they didn't get it too?
Actually, I think that a lot of people sacrifice others in order to get what they want. They don't really care what culture or nationality you are. If they want your land, they'll take your land. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't mean to be a conspiracist early in the morning, but I think that's a part that people are ignoring, that there's these reservations, Standing Rock, Standing Bear, all of those reservations out there had caused trouble for that particular community. And there was a lot of people coming in from different communities to fight against some of the things that were happening on the reservations. It's just that we're not looking at who owns the land. 3/4 of that community are Native American. But take good care, and we're praying for everyone.
I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Yeah, to me, if you're trying to kill a specific population, you kill them. You don't kill yourself, too. You know what I mean? So, but we all have our theories, and I appreciate your call. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Jake from Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Jake.
Good morning, Solomon. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'd just like to say, in regards to what the young man just said earlier about Donald Trump starting the war, in light of all of the things that he has done and the way he has conducted himself, I wouldn't put that past him. And as far as the federal government concerned, they seem to be going right along with all his idiocy. And nobody seems to be going against it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't try to start one.
And we actually talked about that in our top 3 stories. He has talked about attacking Iran over their nuclear program, which continues because Donald Trump pulled the U.S. out of the nuclear deal. So he talked about that. He fired the Secretary of Defense. He replaced top military aides with yes men. He revealed his plans to move American troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan, even though his own advisors say we should not do that because it could start trouble. So, yeah, we talked about that.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome, brother, always. 215-634-8065. And, he could very well do that. And that's the scary thing about having such a long period between the end of one presidency and the beginning of another. That might be something that we might want to revisit. But the damage, man, that a crazy person could do, in that period of time, is something that you have to consider. But I don't know that we considered that we would have a crazy person in the White House. And now that's what we have. And you got a guy, and he said it, man. And when he said it, to me, it felt very ominous. He said, well, whether I win or lose, I got a long time between, the election and the inauguration. He said, I got a lot of time. And when he said that, to me, it was chilling. Because, okay, you got a lot of time to do what? You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. But we have to continue, I think, in our community to do what we have to do for ourselves. And the thing that we have to learn from this is that we have to stick together. We have to help one another. We have to move forward as a people. We have to love each other, man, enough to support each other, enough to correct each other, enough to move each other in a direction that we need to go. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. What should Donald Trump's new job be? I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. We are going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk with CNN commentator Roxanne Jones about some of this stuff that is going on. We always want to hear her views on it. CNN commentator Roxanne Jones is on the other side of this break. And if you want to get in, you can certainly do that by weighing in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. We'll be right back.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. For testing hours and more information, call 1-833-533-3463.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Save the date. Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for the 5th annual WURD Empowerment Experience. And this year, the virtual and on-air event will be extra special as we celebrate the career of radio veteran Cody Anderson and discuss the importance of independent black media. For more details about the 2020 WURD Empowerment Experience or to RSVP, visit WURDradio.com and stay tuned to WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent black media. You're waking up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
A continuation of the mistreatment of black women in the United States. When I think of Black Lives Matter, I'm not just thinking of police brutality. I'm thinking about a whole law enforcement system screaming for reform. You can't tell me he didn't know something, and even if he didn't, he should have.
And now, Roxanne Jones, live on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And joining us now is Roxanne Jones. She's a former VP at ESPN, CNN opinion writer, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, an illustrated history of the black athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Roxanne, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. As I was saying to Coesa, ever since the election, I've just felt my spirit is much lighter.
Yeah.
I know we have work to do, but it's still better. The future looks much better to me without 45. So let's count down the days. Let's count them down.
I know. I just wish we only had to count to like 10.
Yes. Or, that he was actually a lame duck, because obviously he's not.
Yeah. This is bizarre. This is absolutely bizarre. But speaking of happier days, I want to speak about Barack Obama. So he's doing the standard media tour for his new book, but he's not holding back like he typically does. In fact, he's throwing shade. He compared Donald Trump to the comic book character Richie Rich. He told 60 Minutes Trumps need to concede for the good of the country. What do you see in Barack Obama's shift in tone?
Well, I see also a lightness in him, as we look at the last 4 years, how he's been quiet and obviously disappointed and depressed along with the rest of us. But I also think that he is trying to guide the country back to, civility and unity in the face of all of this chaos. And I think that of course, he's gone so he can be more honest. But I liked what he said on 60 Minutes, because he said, I know people wanted me to be more aggressive, more pugilistic. I think that was his word, because he's so brilliant. They wanted me to fight back more against all of my critics. But that's not the persona I wanted to bring into the White House. That's not the persona that I wanted to put in front of the country, because we see what that persona is. Trump has it, right? And so, he was explaining how he thought he led the nation and what his personality is. Every president has one, but he's not holding any
any comments about any reservations about how awful and how inept Donald Trump is. He's incompetent. He's messed up almost. If you look at foreign policy, you look at the economy, you look at health care, you look at education. None of those things are better. And so I'm glad that Obama is saying those things forthrightly, but he's also saying them in an intelligent way that doesn't add any divisiveness. It just gives you a clear picture of, okay, here's where we stand. This is what it looks like. This is how I see it. And I do like that he's making his record shine more, because he's like, when I left, this is how job growth was, the most we'd ever seen. So I think he's setting his record straight on a couple in many areas, and I'm glad that he's getting the chance to do that, because that is the one area where I always feel, not just President Obama, but the whole culture of the Democrats is their marketing sucks. They never really tout. When Obama was in office, and I think it was because of racism, because most of these people were white, they were very lax to credit, to tout his accomplishments, which were many untold accomplishments. Even when they were campaigning, some of them were hesitant to have Obama with them. And so I don't forget the racism that I saw within the Democratic Party when President Obama was in office. So it does make me happy and joyful that he is now in a position where he can kind of reset the record to remind us, because the world is so crazy now and everything's so toxic and full of lies and misinformation, that there really is no one else who could set the record clear except for President Obama. So I like what he's doing, and I love that even though Biden and Kamala are in office, I have no doubt that President Obama will be in the background there guiding them. And that makes me feel good about, what the future looks like for us.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what else I like, Roxanne? I like the shade. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, no, I like the shade, too. I like the shade. I'm glad that he has a chance to throw shade. But I like the way he's doing it. It's smooth. It's smooth. It's very blackety black. And I love the way he's doing it. So, but it's a shade that is not like, the best shade is when you got to think, like, did he just throw shade?
Exactly.
What? That's the best, to me, that's the best kind of shade. Shade is not all aggressive in your face like you're ready to throw down. That's not shade. Right. That's losing, all calm and collected. That's losing. But the way he's doing it, and Trump is like rolling over. He may have a coronary. I don't know. He is, because he's doing such finesse and all the receipts to back up everything. And just forthrightly, like, the man is incompetent. And, with the little side smirk and everything. He's good. He's not, when he's trying to hold back, you can tell because he starts stammering. Right. Has a lot of pauses in his speech. And I could see that through his presidency, but also after. But now he's just flowing with it. He's flowing with everything. And,
it's a good
thing.
That,
and I like it because, again, it puts us back to the center. It puts us back on the path to just hear him throwing a shade with the receipts, calmly, forthrightly, and justly. And, and it reminds us that every word out of a politician's mouth doesn't need to be a lie. Doesn't need to be, and he's not tweeting. President Obama's not doing any stupid tweets. I hope we never again. This is one precedent that Trump has set that I hope media can readjust itself, because it is still disgusting and disturbing to me that we covered 4 years of a president through tweets.
I know.
Imagine if we had ignored his tweets. We didn't have to cover those tweets. He could have had, if we didn't give him, amplify every toxic, nasty, disgusting word this man said, he would have had to hold press briefings because he can't avoid the cameras. He loves the cameras, which is why he's acting a fool now. He loves the attention. If we hadn't covered those tweets, which we debated in newsrooms, the president's speaking, we have to cover it. We didn't have to do that. And so I hope that Americans do not have to suffer through 4 years of presidency through tweets.
It's really imbecile. It's so like unbelievable. Right?
It really is.
That's how we would distribute news and information about the welfare of the country through Twitter. Are you kidding me? And so hopefully that precedent can be put aside. I don't think that Biden or Kamala will be, VP in tweet or president in tweet. But even if they do fall by the wayside, I think we have to correct that, because that is not a way to run the country or to cover such important news for the nation.
No, it's not. And I'm hoping, because we've been talking about what kind of job he should have when he leaves, and of course that's a fun conversation.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm hoping is that Twitter would just kick him off.
Well, I hope so too. I mean, they've tried to go there. Twitter has done a lot better than Facebook, I think, in just getting rid of the treasonous misinformation that 45 is putting out there. But I hope so too, and I hope some of those tweets will be used in a court of law. Voter intimidation, treason, inciting riots, all of that. So let him lay down his record of crimes against the country, against humanity, and let's use those. So I'm hoping somebody, the Attorney General in New York, who I know, Letitia James, she's going after him. They have ample evidence of crimes that he's committed, and he's such a fool that he's put it all out there. So, I hope he is off Twitter. Twitter has shut down a lot of the followings he's had, and some of his cult leaders as well, shut down some of those accounts. But we'll have to see how we continue.
Wait a minute. I like how you just slid that in there and called them cult leaders.
Listen. Look, I've been watching President Obama. I've learned some, subtle shade myself along the way.
Yo, that was a master class right there. That was a master class in shade. I appreciate that.
There you go. There you go. And that's how I will refer, because, again, we media and just, even people on Facebook retweeting misinformation and racist, toxic conversations. I think that we amplify, maybe, we're not meaning to, but we amplify and normalize that kind of conversation. And so I never, even on my Facebook page, which, I'm in media, I have all the social media accounts, but I've silenced and gotten rid of people who regurgitate that trash.
Yeah. You have to.
I'm not shocked by anything. We don't learn anything by it. I'm not thinking he or any of the cult leaders are above any of that. And I just don't think that it's a good use of my time or anybody that I know or care about putting their eyes on stuff like that. It's a distraction. It's toxic. And so, they have to go. They have to go. And that is really the only way we can change direction, is if we stop being so reactive with all of this toxic, abusive language in the culture and start looking forward to something more positive. What do we want this to be? If we spend the next 4 years regurgitating, reviewing, trying to explain this cult behavior and what happened, then I think we lose by that. We lose. I don't need anything explained to me. I see it right in front of my face. I know what it is. I feel what it is. It's garbage, and that's it. I'm not spending time looking back, because we have to look forward if we're going to get out of this hole that we're in, this cultural kind of hole.
Yeah, so, I agree. But we're in another hole too, because you've got a couple of months before there is the transition, and that brings me to this. Donald Trump has been exploring attacking Iran, pulling troops from Afghanistan and Iraq in his final days as president. Aides and veteran and military and political leaders warned those moves could be disastrous. In watching him, what are your thoughts, Roxanne?
As I think we discussed last week, I'm nervous. We just don't know what this man is going to do, and I wouldn't be so nervous if it was just Trump. But he's put all of his cronies in, heading up all the Department of Defense and all of those places. And so he's out to do anything, but I do know his foreign policy has gotten us nowhere. He backed out of the Iran deal. Now Iraq is concerned Iran's going to attack. China's economy is on the rise. Like, China is flowing. They've tamped down the virus. Their economy is growing by leaps and bounds. North Korea is doing their thing. Russia is fine. You see they're all silent. So, let's just hope that he doesn't drive us into conflict or put our troops in further danger, because I felt that's what he has done with all this vitriol and these horrible foreign policy decisions. And I think that he's put Americans who are trying to, protect the world and protect us in danger. And so I'm hoping and praying that, I don't know if there's one person, because Congress does have to approve any act of war, but I don't, as he's not following any of the rules, he can do a lot of damage just in these last few days. So that's when I said, day by day, let's just count this down. And I'm sure there are people on the Hill, politicians on the Hill, who are trying to prevent disaster from happening, things that we don't even know about, trying to prevent it. So, look, we don't have checks and balances, as you said. We have no preparation for a lunatic in the White House, for a lunatic leader, for a dictator. And if we walk away with nothing else, I don't know if this Congress will have the guts to do it in the Senate, but we need better protections. Our country needs better protections against rogue leaders, because now we know they're here, and I think they're here to stay.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that we really have to be careful about, because part of what's happening, I think, is that you have Republicans who are in office, and Democrats do the same thing. They care more about staying in that office than they do about doing the right thing. You know what I mean? So you're looking at the fact that he got, I think, 73 million votes. I think at this point Joe Biden's at like 78 million plus. And you're saying, look, these are people who could vote for me or vote me out. So I'm more concerned about my own future than standing up and saying, nah, dog, you can't do that. This is wrong, what you're doing. Stop doing it. I think it's more about their own self-preservation than anything else.
Well, I think that, and I think it's bigger than that. I think it is about, we have a certain idea of where we want this country to be, that we want the Supreme Court, we want the economy, we want maybe foreign policy, we want all that, we want education, and they know, I think that they feel like if they break ranks, then they're messing that up. Not just individually they want to keep their offices. Of course they want to do that because they're on with the agenda. But I do think that they are looking at this and at these 4 years as a way that finally they are outnumbered, which is why they lost the election, right? They know they're outnumbered. Right. So we want to control how many people vote. We want elections. We want voter suppression laws. We want to control the economy. We want to control, they have a set agenda that they are trying to put forth before the American people. And we're so distracted and, just worrying about our everyday lives that I think the bigger picture sometimes gets lost. So I see this as more than a battle for just individual 2 Senate seats in Georgia. I really see it for, the direction that the country will take for generations as we look at, the 3 pillars of this democracy. And so I think that when they're fighting tooth and nail to keep this imbecile active in the White House, I think that's what they're thinking. I feel like that's what they're thinking about, the bigger picture. And so, I don't think they're going to give up. That's why I say, the 73 million people, whoever it is who voted, I don't even think they're looking at it like that. I think they're on some other stuff. But the politicians certainly know what they're trying to achieve. The Republican Party knows what it's trying to achieve, and I think they see this as their opening, and they're not going to give up on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think also it's probably the best job they've ever had. Now imagine you got a job, right? You go to the market, people, hey, they treating you like a celebrity. You know, you get a per diem. You get the best health care available, even though you deny it to other people. You get everything that you want. You know what I mean? Plus the adoration of folks who are always kissing your butt because they think you can give them something too. It's just it's toxic. It's intoxicating. You know what I mean? That kind of power.
Right. And as we look at not just rogue presidents, but as we look at how we have set this up, you know, there needs to be some change. What does that look like? What does that change look like? Does it look like, you know, I've always been upset about the health care, the Cadillac health care that they get, the shutting down the government, you know, when Americans are suffering and struggling, they aren't. That's why they're so nonchalant about some of the things that they do, I think. And so I think, is this how we want Congress to run? Is this how we want to set them up as kings and queens who are insulated against things that everyday Americans are going through? Because that's what they are right now. And so I think that we do need to sit back, and I would say President Obama is leader in this kind of thinking and many others, and look at how this democracy is standing up, because I think we're on shaky legs, and we've let it get to this point because we're not, you know, as people, we're not in a position, individuals, to rip up, you know, the rules for Congress, to put in, and it's about more than term limits, right? It's about everything else that comes with it. And since most of them are millionaires, you know, we have progressives coming in who aren't, but, you know, it's not for the paycheck. I wouldn't say that that's inspiring them. But like you said, it's all the other, it's the visibility and the power to make deals. And it's all of it. You know, they've become kingmakers and not queen makers yet, but we're on the way. And we're not insulated against any of their wrongdoings.
Yeah.
And so how can we change that? You know, is it the Electoral College? Can we trash that? Can we?
It takes a congressional amendment. It takes a constitutional amendment to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be done. I
And
think if
who's
people
doing
stick
that?
together and make that a goal, it could absolutely be done, but it would take a constitutional amendment.
Well, I have to say that the only people that I feel are stirring the pot enough are the progressives, like AOC and some of the new people who have come in, Cori Bush, Lucy Bath, women like that, because I don't think that the traditional Democrats or the Republicans, I think that they're too tainted, they're too comfortable in where they are. They're never going to rip up something like the Electoral College. They're not doing it. And so unless we can get some new, strident, like, we don't care, we're burning all this stuff down because it has never worked for us, I think that they need that. And that's why I'm always glad they're there. I may not agree with every single thing they're doing, but I agree with the spirit of, you people are not working for Americans. This needs to be ripped up. We have to rethink everything. And I really think only they are going to do it. I don't see Joe Biden's traditional Democratic Party saying, let's get rid of the Electoral College. Do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't. That is Roxanne Jones. She's a former VP at ESPN, CNN opinion writer, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, and Illustrated History of the Black Athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Roxanne, as always, thanks so much.
Thank you, Solomon. Have a good week.
Okay, you too. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk about Man Up PHL. Gun violence continues to be a problem in our community. Man Up PHL, tackling it through mentoring. Akbar Hassan and Clyde Russell, two of our mentors, are going to be joining us in a few minutes to talk about tonight's 6 p.m. mentoring session on achieving financial goals. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Pennsylvania's COVID-19 mobile testing unit, KATE, will soon be coming to the area. Anyone who would like to be tested and receive free information and resources can attend a KATE tour stop. All services are first come, first serve, and no appointments or insurance are required. Many stops will also provide free flu shots. To learn when KATE will be making a stop near you, please visit KATE, C-A-T-E, mobileunit.com.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD. Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to Word Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app. Or watch live on Word TV via Facebook and YouTube. Word Radio. Independent Black Media. Keeping you informed. As a community service, Word Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where you can get no-cost, barrier-free COVID-19 testing this week. These locations offer free flu shots and coronavirus testing. Tuesday, November 17th, from 12 noon till 4 p.m. at Esperanza, 4261 North 5th Street. Thursday, November 19th, from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. at Sharon Baptist Church, 3955 Conshohocken Avenue. Friday, November 20th, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at Deliverance Evangelistic Church, 2001 West Lehigh Avenue. And Saturday, November 21st, from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Leah Chorus Center, 1776 North Broad Street. Stay informed and stay well with Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And, of course, gun violence remains a huge issue in our community. Man Up PHL, which started a year ago tomorrow, continues to address these issues by speaking and mentoring directly the young men who are most likely to be victims or perpetrators, statistically, of gun violence. And we've continued that through this year, and we are now doing it online because of the coronavirus pandemic. And our next session will be tonight at 6 p.m. Online on Facebook. And joining us to talk about that is Akbar Hassan. You know him as our finance guy, but he's also on our board and one of our mentors. And, of course, Clyde Russell, who is also one of our mentors. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Great.
Good.
Excellent.
Good. So, Akbar, I'm going to start with you because tonight we're going to be talking about finances and achieving financial goals. And folk wonder, like, what does finance have to do with gun violence? And I wonder your take on that.
Well, that's a very good question, Solomon. So with Man Up PHL, what we try to do is turn one life at a time around. And we can provide all the mentoring, we can provide all the support services, we can give people jobs all we want. But if they don't know what to do with that money that they earn, when we push them in that direction, then all is lost. There are stories abound of people with much more money than I have and you have that have squandered it over making bad financial decisions in their life, ruining their life and other lives. So one of the 5 tenets of Man Up is financial literacy, so that when mentees get to that position where they can start making some money and bringing some money in, how do you keep that money? How do you make that money work for you and end up with a better life than you started? And so that's why finance is very important. It's a very important foundation of Man Up.
Yeah, it is absolutely important, because a lot of what we see around gun violence revolves around money or the lack thereof, right?
Yep.
Money disputes, or people who don't have money, or people who are desperate and need money. Like, a lot of what we see with gun violence revolves around the issue of money. That's why we address it. Clyde, you've been with us for some time as well. Why do you work with Man Up?
Man Up really goes just to right along with my life mission. As a young man, I got caught up like a lot of these young brothers, and I'm 50 plus now, and I remember just growing up. All of us, all the young people that I hung out with, man, none of us had fathers. None of us had real mentors. We had a lot of old heads on the corner. But that was kind of a negative in a lot of ways. And I saw how, just in my several circles, people just passed away, man, and just fell by the wayside. I was, by the grace of God, one that was able to navigate through and make it through. And there's been a lot of reasons for that. And I just want to, continuously give back because I know just how important it is firsthand.
And so when we talk about the issue of achieving financial goals, right? First, you have to know how to set goals, Akbar. And I think that, for some of us, because we haven't had a lot of instruction, we haven't had a lot of examples, we haven't had people to look to and see how they do it, that might seem simple to some folks, but when you haven't had anybody to show you, it's not.
You know what? You're right, Solomon. And that is the number one anchor that holds everything together, goal setting. Because with goals, you now have a purpose, right? A lot of these shootings happen, in my opinion, because people have no goals. They have no future or no vision of a future. But once you give someone a future or a vision of a future, or teach them how to create a vision of a future of goals, now they have a reason to live. They have a reason to put that gun down, in my opinion. But how do you set goals? There are 2 types of goals. There's short-term goals that I want to achieve this year or maybe next year. And then there's long-term goals. Everyone should have long-term goals. Everyone should have goals that they may not achieve during their lifetime. They may or may not, but that's a long-term goal. You should have those 2-term goals as something on your back for you to strive towards. And when you do that, now you have a reason to save. Now you have a reason to nurse your money. Now you have a reason to go to work every day. Now you have a reason to make that tough decision when to buy something or not to buy. It all starts with goals. And by teaching our mentees goals and how to set goals and how to keep goals and be persistent in trying to achieve them, that goes a long way in putting people on the path to the right side of the coin, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Clyde, how did you learn how to set goals?
Well, a lot of it came from, first social institution outside of yourself is the family. So, even though I didn't have a father, the father figure growing up, I had uncles, My grandfather, they were all family men. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. He owned the auto shop in North Philadelphia, long-standing businessman in North Philadelphia. And, even as a young age, when I spent the summers down there, like I had to get up about 6 o'clock in the morning, come and sweep up the shop, go with him to the junkyard to grab parts. So, I saw, even though, there was some negativity around me within the family, I saw some examples of people that were doing the right thing, that were, as Brother Akbar said, that had goals, that had focus. My mother was an excellent parent. She, as you just mentioned, she was the one that taught me a lot of the things that I needed to know. I know with me working with young people, we have so many young people that no one in the family knows how to fill out a job application. Like, no one in the family has a resume. Right? Some of these, what some of us may take, for granted as some of these basic skills, there aren't many people around that just for one reason or another don't have those skills and aren't able to pass them on. So I had people around me that were, showing me bits and pieces. As a young man, when you don't have men in your life, you got to learn how to look at other men and pick some pieces of manhood that you want to stick with you. And, like I said, by the grace of God, I was able to do that, and I had that available to me.
Akbar, how'd you learn about money as a tool?
I learned it from my mother. My mother. And, and we talked about this before, Sam, my mother she was, a financial guru, but a self-taught financial guru. She just knew how to manage the funds of the household and how to manage, my brother and my sisters and all. But everything that I taught or learned from was mainly from observation, And if I had a question, I would ask her, but it's just observing her how to take care of the finances of the household and saying, wow, everything looks nice and tight and neat here, and I see these bills, and she's sitting down doing this. That's how you do it. It's really by observation and learning it. And as Brother Clyde said, a lot of the stuff that we learn, whether it's goal setting or whatever, comes from observing someone who you aspire to be and say, wow, I would like to learn that. And that person then sharing it with you. But I've learned most things I've learned from my mother, and I still learn from her. And, finances, for me, it's simple, I guess, because I've, just been in it for so long. But it really is that simple. I equate it as being as simple as going to the gym and lifting weights. The difference between someone who has muscles and is tight and fit and someone who wants to be but is not is the fact that they didn't get up and do it. It's no magic trick. And so it's the same thing with finances. But my mother is very, very instrumental in everything that I learn and do about finances.
Yeah. And so we want to pass those lessons on. And so tonight at 6 p.m., we are going to be doing our Man Up PHL mentoring session online. We do it on Facebook at the Man Up PHL page on Facebook. Of course, those who are within the organization will be on the Zoom link that we will share within the organization. But we want to share this knowledge not only with our mentees, but with our community at large, because we think if we know better, we'll do better. So, we of course help our mentees get jobs and help them with, various things, suspended licenses, all kind of stuff that they've come to us with. But learning how to keep those things is about learning how to set goals, and especially financially. And so we're going to be talking about that this evening. And Akbar, we're also doing a raffle as well. People can go to our website about that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So, we have our 1-year anniversary, and so we're kicking off our 30 and 30 fundraising campaign, which starts today. So if you go to manupphl.org, you'll be able to enter into our raffle and our other fundraising initiative that we have going on. But we have a main 30 and 30 fundraising campaign that's kicking off today, where we're trying to raise $30,000 in 30 days to help our mentees. None of it goes to the pockets of anyone on the board, anything like that. It's all for supporting mentees with transportation, with stipends, with food, housing, because in order to help the people who want to help, it just costs money. That's the way of the world. And so We need that money, and we need your help. So go to manupPHL.org and help us help everyone.
Yeah, and I got to give out a shout out to WURD, because WURD has been there from the beginning with what we're doing, have been supportive of the effort, understood the importance of the effort, so we certainly appreciate WURD. And one of your fellow board members, Jeff Brown, because we're going to be giving out gift cards to our mentees as well over the next week or so before Thanksgiving. And so we got to give a shout out to Jeff Brown, who has helped us to get those gift cards to give out to our mentees as well. So we're appreciative of everybody. Clyde, we appreciate you, man, being there from the beginning, sitting in those meetings. I can't wait until we can meet in person again. But we appreciate all that you guys have done. That's Clyde Russell, Akbar Hassan. You can hear more from them tonight at 6 p.m. on the Man Up PHL mentoring session. You can check that out on Facebook at Man Up PHL. Gentlemen, thanks so much.
Thank you,
brother.
All right. So we want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. And speaking of support, we want y'all to support WURD as well. Make sure that you get your membership. I don't know if mine is expired yet for the year, but I buy one every year myself. So make sure you get your membership. Go to wordradio.com to get your membership and support WURD, because WURD supports the other various efforts that we do in our community, Man Up PHL and so many others. So make sure that you support WURD Radio and get others to do that as well. It is critical that you do that. And so we're going to go to break. On the other side, we are going to continue the show right here on WURD.
Are you looking for a rewarding position and sign-on bonus for caregivers? Or are you a senior looking for a caring home care agency that actually cares about you? Abington Care is here to serve you. At Abington Caregivers, you come first. Call them today at 215-600-3434 for all your home care needs. They service Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery County. 215-600-3434. Abington Cares.
PECO is here to help this winter. With LIHEAP, you can get up to a $1,000 cash grant towards your PECO bill. You don't have to be behind on your bill to qualify, and you'll never have to pay it back. Even a family of 4 with an annual income of $40,000 is eligible. So don't count yourself out. This deal is first come, first served, so apply now at PECO.com/LIHEAP or call 800-34-HELP4. That's 800-34-HELP4.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax-Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We are, of course, talking about a number of things this morning, including the last days of Donald Trump's presidency and what he should do afterward. I know he's looking at maybe starting a media company or doing something. He's going to have to raise some money because he owes somebody $400 million. And he's facing charges in New York, so he's going to need to pay those lawyers too. What should Donald Trump do as his post-presidency job? What do you think? 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Renee from West Oak Lane is on line one. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey, good morning, Solomon Kuwait. Before I get into the job of the president, I'd like to give some homage to Dr. Walter P. Lomax, who's the founder, was the founder of WURD. Without him, we wouldn't have this platform to speak. I like to also Sarah Lomax Reese, who make things happen in the Lomax family for their contribution towards black people and humanity. And, of course, the WURD staff, the callers and the listeners and all the shows, and you, Solomon and Kuwait, for the time and energy that you use to do the show, because I know how that feels, because I used to have a show on WURD to deal with your personal life in the show. I was on the air during the time Bill Anderson and Reggie Bryant was on there. But I also like to give out prayers out to an artist by the name of Jeremiah. He's 33 years old. He contracted COVID-19. He's on the ventilator. He's not doing too well. His latest work is with artists like Neo and Wale. And the president's new job, I think, should be a circus clown, because the last 4 years of his sideshow has been critical.
I hear you, Renee. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD, and thank you for weighing in this morning as well. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things that we're talking about on this morning show. Of course, you've got some other things that are going on as well, some stories we couldn't quite get to because there's just so many. But the Boy Scouts, Kawesa, the Boy Scouts are about to be sued for I don't know how many sexual misconduct cases.
That's not good.
No, that's not good at all.
No. I used to be a Girl Scout, and so no, that's not good. Not at all.
No, not at all. And I was a Cub Scout. Right, that's before you get to the Boy Scouts. I was a Cub Scout, and I remember my mother was the den mother, and I remember my mother like making hot dogs for everybody, and I remember making I did a car. We raced these little wooden cars. I think my father helped me make mine, and so I remember that. And it was good times, man. We never had any kind of, anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. There's anything sacred. Lord have mercy. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Tim from Springfield on line one. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Solomon, for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I've given a lot of thought over that last 3.5 years what I would like Donald Trump to do when he retires.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two jobs that I think would be good. One would be to be a hospice aide, to learn the humility and compassion that we have not seen in this man at all.
Yeah.
That's one. But I go up to the mountains to a cabin, and there's a job where these guys will drive these trucks around, and they suck out the number 2 from the septic system. And I think that of all the jobs that Donald Trump could have, I think that one would teach him the humility that you learn in life, that he has never learned, and it's unfortunate. When my daughter read the Mary Trump book, his niece, my daughter who's 28, Janelle is her name, she said to me, I said, what'd you think about the book, Nellie? And she goes, Dad, I am so sorry for the way this man was raised. And you read how basically his father, because his mother was sick, His father just treated him like gold, but he had to win over and over again. And if you don't learn how to lose in life, you can see what it had turns out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Tim, and I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD, because I think you're right about the humility issue. You got to learn humility, man. You got to learn how to win and how to lose, because guess what? You're going to have some losses in life. That's just life. And if you don't know how to lose and get up and move on, then you don't know how to live. So Tim, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Lamar from Camden on line 2. Go ahead, Lamar.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
The only job, more or less, title you should have is inmate number 45 .. And his job in the prison should be in the kitchen. That's
but you know, you get a job in the kitchen, you sneak some of them sandwiches back to your cell.
Yeah, well, they're gonna put him on washing dishes. That's what he's got to throw that low. Throw that low in the kitchen.
All right, I hear you, man. I want to thank you, Lamar, for your call this morning on WURD Radio. I want to hear from you guys. So I know folks are weighing in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we have quite a few comments here. Sorry, I have my little mask on. You can't hear me. We have Deborah Tucker saying, good morning. I joined last week. I love WURD Radio. Can't wait to receive my sweatshirt. So that's one comment. Zen Motley, start teaching young people a trade. I mean, really teach a trade. So that's another comment. Raphael Suleiman says, financial literacy is desperately needed in Philly. Mr. Akbar Hassan, thanks for your efforts. So that's another comment that we have here. And then Yonda Washington says, for lack of vision or goals, the people perish. Goal setting is a powerful principle and skill to instill in our young people. And also, Raphael Suleiman is saying we need to rebuild our neighborhoods into real communities so that others who may have been deprived of proper instruction to learn by observation, as your mother did for you, Mr. Hassan, this can apply to young people or adults. And then we did have a couple more folks weighing in as well. Gail Robinson, in regards to Roxanne, when she was on, she's saying, yes, Roxanne, you nailed it. Well said. How complicit the media has been in helping 45 shape his destruction of the nation. Shaquille Smith says Twitter needs to ban him on Twitter. And Greg Elliott Jr. says the perfect job for Trump is one he's already good at, a professional troll, Twitter troll. So that's another comment that we have there as well. And I thought that I saw something saying that it's Gail Robinson's birthday. So if it is, happy birthday, Gail. Thanks so much for tuning in. But yes, happy birthday to you, Gail.
Yeah, so a whole lot going on, of course, including our top 3 stories, which we've been talking about today. Story number 1, first, he fired the Secretary of Defense, replaced top military aides with yes men. Then he revealed that he plans to rapidly move American troops from Iraq to Afghanistan, from Iraq and Afghanistan as soon as this week. And then he asked his aides what his options were for launching an attack against Iran's nuclear facilities. Lord have mercy. Which brings me to story number 2. With well over 11 million Americans infected with coronavirus, there's good news and bad news about the pandemic. First, the good news: biotech firm Moderna announced yesterday that its coronavirus vaccine is nearly 95% effective at preventing illness, including severe cases. Of course, Pfizer has a vaccine as well. Both of them could be available on a very limited basis by the end of the year. And of course, story number 3, the president refusing to concede, but thinking about what jobs he might have after he leaves the White House. And so I want your suggestions so we can send them to him. What job should the president have after he leaves the White House January 20th? Philip from West Philly is on line 1. Go ahead, Philip.
Yes, good morning, Solomon. How you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I mean, look, this is just so the clown show continues where Trump does not want to concede, and then you have Lindsey Graham, who's not even who doesn't even have nothing to do with Georgia, trying to tell the Secretary of State to throw out votes.
Yep.
It's like what kind of mess is this? As far as what Donald Trump should do after he leaves office, He should do what like the movie The Lion King when Simba came back and told his Uncle Scar to run away and never return. That's what Donald Trump should do. He should run away from this country and never return back to the United States of America.
I hear you, man. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Constance from Germantown is online, too. Go ahead, Constance.
Hi, Solomon. Very quickly, you were talking about the Electoral College. A movement is underway to elect the future president. It's gaining traction in several states to award all Electoral College to votes to whichever candidate wins the nationwide popular vote. And you can go to the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. And so far, I think it's 16 states have signed on to it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's not eliminating the Electoral College, though. It's just saying that all the Electoral College votes in all states should go to whoever wins the popular vote nationwide. Is that what you're saying?
Right. If it goes through.
Well, why not just get rid of it?
Well, it's a better option than we have now. You lose, you win with just the electoral, and it's only been 5 presidents, like Donald Trump, Bush, and Hayes, and Benjamin Harrison, lost the popular vote, but they're still president. So it sounds like it's a little better. So.
Okay, I hear you. I'll check it out. It out. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Diane from South Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Diane.
Good morning, Solomon. I'm a late caller today. I had this multitask like I'm always doing, but I have a perfect place for Trump to go.
Where?
To the blank hole country that he said that we were from. Send him there. Send him there. Let him know what it is to be bitten by mosquitoes, not having clean water, no food, waiting for a shipment to come in, hard labor, hard times. Let him see what it's like. Not Denmark, but send him to the hole. That's where he needs to go. Have a blessed day. Keep it real, keep it black.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. And that's going to be it for today's show. I want to thank all of our guests, including Dr. Elena McDonald and Dr. Delana Wardlaw, City Councilwoman Maria Canones Sanchez, CNN commentator Roxanne Jones, and Akbar Hassan, and Clyde Russell of Man Up PHL. Make sure you check out our online mentoring session on Facebook tonight at 6 p.m. at Man Up PHL. And now, for producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for Reality Check with Charles Ellison, and tune in tomorrow at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.